I have trained and mentored so many life coaches through the Born to Coach Training Academy now, and there are certain signs and traits that make a great life coach. So in this video, I have grouped all of those signs and traits together for you and also added in the story of how I created my life as a life coach to motivate and inspire you. Hi, I'm Krista, and I've been coaching professionally for the past 8 years. I am also the founder and creator of the Born to Coach Training Academy. We are a level 2 ICF accredited coach training program. So what that means is we teach you how to coach at the transformational level and also learn how to incorporate the ICF core competencies and methodologies into your coaching practice. And we also teach you how to build an online successful life coaching business from scratch. So if you want more information about the program, just go below the video and click on the link to our website. And then we'd love for you to book a coach training consult as well, so we can meet you, hear more about your coaching mission and vision, and just help you to figure out if this program is going to be the best next step for you towards becoming a professional coach this year. I can imagine if you're watching this video right now, you're probably wondering, do I have what it takes to make a really great coach? And so I want to share some natural habits with you that I feel will make you a really great coach. And then hopefully it just gives you more of that confirmation of, yes, I'm making the right choice here. I'm on the right direction towards becoming a coach. The first habit is being a really great listener. You would be surprised at how much listening you're going to, and when I say listening, I mean active listening, that you're going to be doing inside a coaching session. The ICF recommends that coaches talk only 20% of the time and listen 80% of the time during their sessions to really give the client space to process and think out loud and have those deeper realizations and breakthroughs. And it's really hard for clients to get life-changing breakthroughs if the coach is talking the whole time. So let's say you do a 60-minute session, and if we calculate what 20% of that would be that you're only talking about 12 minutes throughout the entire session. So if you're already just really great at listening to people, then you're going to learn how to continue to develop this, and this will continue to make you a really excellent coach. Okay, the next habit is empathy. Empathy is a beautiful skill set or habit of whatever you want to call it, of where you're able to deeply connect and relate to the person that you're talking to, really understanding where they're coming from. And a lot of times when people hire life coaches, it's because they've gone through really hard and challenging events that they want to move forward from in their life. And they really want to hire life coaches that understand where they're coming from. I always say people don't hire perfect coaches, right? So that's why I think it's really great to be vulnerable and put your life story out there, so that way people know that, oh, she understands and gets where I'm coming from, and that, people want to know that their life coach isn't going to judge them. And because we all know that people are just judging out there all day, every day anyways. And so they really want a safe space with a safe person that they are like, I know I can talk about anything and everything, and this person is going to listen to me, and they're going to, understand where I'm coming from. So empathy is such a great skill that makes you a great coach in that way. And but I also say too that you don't want to over empathize. Over empathizing is where you jump in the metaphorical hole with the client, and it's where you are kind of like meeting their vibrational level and you're not able to pull them out. So empathy is good, but we don't want to over empathize. We want to stay at a higher vibrational level than our clients, so we can help pull them out of the hole and help them to move forward. The third next natural habit is being curious. So in the Born to Coach Training Academy, we teach the ICF core competencies, and one of the core competencies is embodies a coaching mindset. And when you bring a coaching mindset to the coaching session, you're coming from this very curious place of where you're essentially saying, I don't know anything about this person or this situation, but I want to know more, and I'm curious to see how we can partner together to help them achieve whatever they want in their life. So if you feel like you're already a naturally curious person, when you meet people, you love asking questions and you just want to know more, that skill set is just going to so greatly transfer over to becoming a professional coach. A lot of times people think coaching is about like giving this amazing life advice and being this perfect life guru, and that's actually the opposite of what your clients need. They need you to show up as this empty vessel, like I said, knowing nothing and coming from this really curious place and just asking all kinds of beautiful open-ended questions to help them get to where they want to be. And I one time heard someone say that being curious is one of the highest forms of service that you can give to someone else. So that's really resonated with me and sticks with me, and I remind myself of that when I'm coaching my clients too. The next natural habit is acknowledgement. So if you are someone that loves acknowledging others and giving compliments to help them to feel good, and you really like to recognize people's strengths and point that out, this is also going to be a great habit that will transfer over as a professional coach. We teach that, you don't want to be like constantly acknowledging the client throughout the whole session. That can be a little too much and annoying, but there's definitely a time and a place in a coaching session where you're going to recognize your client's strengths and the work that they're doing well in the coaching session, outside the coaching session, and you're going to learn how to deeply acknowledge that, and that just makes your clients feel so good and warm and fuzzy. So if you already love acknowledging people, then this is a skill set you're definitely going to keep using. The next natural habit is that you enjoy challenging people. Okay, so like for me, I have my partner Kyle who lives with me, and a lot of times when I feel like his energy is like really stagnant and he's been sitting in front of his computer all day working at home, and I'll say like, hey, let's go to the park and go for a walk together. And he'll be like, oh, I don't want to, and I'm so tired. I'm like, yeah, but I bet you're going to feel so much better after you do it. And, I'm just really like inviting him to step outside his comfort zone and helping him to do something that maybe he wouldn't normally feel motivated to do. So this is what coaches want to do for their clients, is we're not like pushing them, but we're inviting them to do things beyond what they thought that they were capable of. And that's really a good feeling. Like your clients want to feel after they've worked with you like, wow, I accomplished X, Y, and Z, and I don't think I ever would have done that on my own. And so coaches are really good at, just naturally challenging people in a way to help them achieve more things that they wouldn't do on their own. How to keep the healing. The next natural habit is that you love sharing resources with others. So maybe you're constantly sharing books or podcasts or YouTube videos because you're like, I want to help make people's lives better. And I watched this thing and read this thing and it helped me. And so I want to share it with others. And so there's definitely a time and a place to do that in a professional coaching session. We always want to use our clients' ideas first, but then after we have our clients come up with their own ideas and solutions, a coach can jump in and say like, hey, I have this really great book that I read around self-care, and I know that that's something that you're working towards right now. Would you be open to me sharing this book with you? Right? And so your clients are going to just love getting those recommendations and those resources for you that you're going to want to share with them. And the last natural habit is that you love helping people to live their best lives, right? Like you just get so much joy and fulfillment from seeing people change and grow, and you want to be on that journey with them. You want to be a part of that process. If you really just that's like your cup of coffee for life, you're going to be an excellent, amazing coach. I know for me, with my students in the Born to Coach Training Academy and my personal life coaching clients, like when I see them just, thinking in new ways and making different decisions in their life, and you see their life really just enhancing and changing in a way that was different before you guys started to work together. Like that is what brings me so much joy and fulfillment and gets me out of bed at 5 a.m. every morning. So if the thought of doing that for others just lights you up and you already feel like you're naturally doing that for other people, then that means you are going to be an excellent life coach.
In today's video, I want to share with you the life that I designed for myself as a life coach, and also share some tips for you of how to design your life as a life coach as well. Before I became a life coach, I was a labor and delivery nurse for 5 years. I didn't really want to be a nurse, but my mom was a nurse, my sister was a nurse, and my parents felt like it was a really stable, well-paying position. So, I was young at that time, and it just felt like it was the best decision to make, even though it wasn't the best decision for me. In my life as a nurse, it was good on the outside. I always say it was like my white picket fence life on the outside, but on the inside, I was very miserable. I was working long, hard 12-hour shifts, and by the time I would come home, my feet were hurting, my back was hurting because I have scoliosis. I was just constantly crying all the time from the stress of the job, and can be a really toxic work environment with the doctors and nurses and patients just, not treating you that well. I was just constantly tired and energetically depleted because this job was just not fulfilling my soul. I was also just sick all the time too, from, being around sick people, and then from constantly living under stress. And I really just did not like my life. And I hate saying this out loud, but I would drive to the hospital in the morning wishing I would get in a car accident so that way I didn't have to show up to the hospital. And I mean, like, thank God, I'm glad that never happened. But it was like to that point of where I was just, I wanted to get out. And I didn't have the courage to quit because I liked the paycheck and I didn't want to disappoint my parents or let anybody else down. And so, thankfully the universe fired me. I didn't, wasn't able to look at it that way then, but now, like, looking back at it, like, I'm so grateful that I got fired, because that really gave me an opportunity to start off with a clean slate and, figure out what is it that I want to do next. So luckily I was working with a life coach at that time, and she helped me to figure out that I too wanted to become a life coach. I was really impressed with the work that she was doing with me. I loved the questions she was asking me. I loved how she treated me, the space she was holding for me. And I just was like seeing every week how much my life was changing with the work we were doing. And I remember thinking at the end of our sessions, like, wow, I can't believe someone could get paid for this. And I was paying her really good money as well. So it just felt like it was what I was meant to do next. So during that time, I also went through a divorce as well. That was, as I would describe, that was my rock bottom in life. And I just look at it as a way as the universe was really clearing out all the things in my life that wasn't working so I could move forward with creating the life that, was going to work out best for me. And so I sold all my stuff. I traveled around the world. And during that time while I was traveling, I was, living in Airbnbs, and I started setting up my life coaching business. So this was the first time that I was really like working from home. And I put home in air quotes because I didn't really have a home during that time because I was traveling. So my home was just basically like me and my body and my suitcase. But, I wasn't working at an actual building. I wasn't working at a hospital anymore. And I didn't realize how much of a transition there was going to be from working from home. Now, being in St. Louis full time, I do work from my home full time as well. And what I realized was, as a nurse, I was like constantly on my feet for 12 hours. And so trying to sit still in front of a computer was so incredibly hard. Like, I would do it for like 15 minutes and then I would find myself like cleaning the house or going to run errands. Like, I could not sit still. And I was also so incredibly lonely because, when you go to a job, I had peers, I had coworkers, I had patients and, nurses and doctors to talk to. So that was a really hard transition as well, is that of course I had my coaching clients I could talk to, but then that was pretty much it. And then the distractions were horrible because my mind associated being with home with either like resting or like getting household chores done. And so I had to retrain my brain that, okay, now you're going to be making money from home. Now you're going to be like dressing up and doing work from home. And so that was a really hard thing to switch inside my brain. But after a couple of years, I was able to make this work out, and now it's just become a habit, and it's really easy for me to work at home, and I love it. I'm a sensitive introvert, and so I find that being able to work from home full time, I get to protect my energy so much better, and so that way I'm not energetically depleted like I was when I was working outside of the house. I also love that I get to create the ultimate work-life balance for myself. And just so you guys know, like work-life balance is going to look different for each person. For me, what it looks like is I work about 20 to 25 hours per week. I work Monday through Thursday. I take Fridays off to spend time with my son. And then on the weekends, I always like to travel, sometimes by myself, sometimes with my family. I love taking naps every day. I take off from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. The afternoons where I'm just not able to focus. So, yeah, I love taking my power naps or just going for a walk or doing some self-care. And really at 38 years old, well, I'll be 30 in a couple months. I feel the healthiest that I've ever been in my life. I feel so much healthier now than when I was 20 years old. And it's because working for myself and having my own business allows me to really be an advocate for my health. And then I just don't have to work myself to death. And, I get to be my own boss and create my own hours. So I love that I get to take care of myself and still have a successful job, and that those two don't have to compete with each other. And I also love that I can be present for my family. I have a 3-year-old son, Lincoln. And like I said, I love that I get to take Fridays off. I get to spend the entire day with him. So I just really love how much I can balance having a successful career and being a present mom and then having really good health. I'm also making so much more money now than I ever did as a nurse. And at one time, I was convinced that I would never be able to replace my nursing income. Like, I love that I'm being paid to live out my purpose. That's how it feels. And yeah, I just had my 6-figure year, and I'm probably going to go to about 150,000 this year. And my plans for next year is to double that and make 300,000. And so I love that you can, as a life coach, you can make as much money as you want. I wake up every day now excited to work on my business. I no longer wish that I would get into a car accident. Thank goodness I don't wish that upon myself anymore. I literally do like jump out of bed and like open up my computer, so excited to talk to my clients that day and my students, work on my business. And I think that is just such an amazing feeling to have in life, to be excited to do your work for the day. I also love that I get to like directly see the change that happens within my clients and my students when I work with them long term. As a nurse, I would just work with people for such a short amount of time, and I hated that I didn't know like the start of their journeys. And so with my clients, I get to see their life change from the start to the finish of our coaching container. And I think that that is so fulfilling. I also love that I get to decide who I work with, that I get to decide what type of clients and students to take on, and then how many people I want to work with. And, in my job, I would never get to make those kind of decisions. So you just have so much control in your life and your business when you work for yourself. I also have my own team. I have a virtual assistant, Mary. I have a video editor, Becky, who's going to be
Hey.
editing this right now. Hi, Becky. I have my YouTube strategist, Liz. I have my bookkeeper, Carrie. So I love having a team that I get to work with now. And then probably my most favorite part is I love getting to travel for as long as I want, and I can bring my business along with me so I don't have to limit my travel. Sometimes I'm not traveling quite as long as I want now, being a mother. There's some restrictions with that. But before I became a mom, like I said, I was traveling for 2 years around the world while I was starting up my life coaching business. And, as long as you have your laptop and a Wi-Fi, you can work with anyone at any time. Okay, Okay, so now I want to share some tips for you to help you design the life that you want as a life coach as well too. So my first question for you is, what's your ideal work schedule? Right? How many days per week do you want to work? Do you want to work 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 2 days a week? You have that choice. You can also decide, what are your working hours? Do you want to start your days at 6 a.m. or do you want to start your days at 11 a.m.? You totally get that choice on what works best for you. And then you can also decide on what days that you can do client calls. Like for myself, I don't do client calls on Mondays because that's on those days I do the back end stuff on my business. The next question I have for you is, where do you want to work from? Right? So you can work from your bed, you can work in your kitchen. Sometimes you can work in your bathtub, just don't get your electronics wet. Or maybe you want to get out of the house, you can work at a co-working space, or maybe you want to travel. Maybe you want to go halfway across the world to Bali and be on the beach sipping pina colada of a coconut and having your laptop on your lap while you do the client calls, or work on your social media for the day. Or maybe you want to do more in-person stuff and meet your clients in person at like a hotel lobby or in the park, go for a walk with them in the park. Or maybe you have like an actual in-person location where clients come to meet you and you do your sessions in person. And the last thing to remember is that you're going to be your own boss, and you're going to be giving yourself tasks and deadlines, and you're going to have to create your own form of accountability. This is something that is already built in when you work for someone else, and that's not going to be available anymore. So you literally do have to be intentional with creating it when you work for yourself. I do have a couple of freebies that will help you to get started with this. They're below the video. I have a life coach checklist that will tell you everything you need to get started. And then I also have a worksheet that's going to give you all kinds of different ideas on how to start creating clients for yourself as well. So you can grab those after watching the video. You're always welcome to join us in the Born to Coach Training Academy as well, because we already have this coaching community built in for you, which is going to be a natural form of accountability. You're also going to get to work with your own life coach in our program too. So there's that accountability. And then, we're going to just help you to figure out what is the best way for you to build a life coach based off your unique energy and your schedule and demands in life and everything. And so that will determine like what kind of task you work on each week. And then you can also ask for accountability from, maybe you already have your own personal coach or therapist, or you have a coaching community you belong to, or a friend or your spouse.
So I've been working closely with new life coaches from all over the world, and I see a lot of common signs that people are meant to become a life coach. And I want to share some of those with you today. So the first sign is that you love personal development work and you can't get enough of it. I'm sure your Kindle is filled with self-help books. You love listening to podcasts as you're walking your dog or driving to work. And you probably love binging on Netflix documentaries. And I'm sure Brene Brown is your spirit animal. I know that she's definitely my spirit animal. Basically, you just love challenging yourself and seeing how you can take your life to that next level of fulfillment. The second sign is that you've probably overcome a lot of challenging events in your life, and now you feel called to turn your pain into purpose, and you want to help others overcome challenges as well. Right before I decided to become a life coach in 2016, I went through a really messy divorce and a tragic job loss. It was definitely my rock bottom and one of the most painful events of my life. So when I became a life coach, I started sharing my story online, and my story attracted the people who were meant to work with me. And I ended up working with a lot of women who also lost their jobs or were ready to switch careers and do more fulfilling work, or had recently gone through divorces. So it was so healing for me to see that I had gone through everything for a reason, and now that I could help people to overcome similar type of events and give them hope that they could thrive after going through really difficult times. Right, the third sign that you're meant to become a life coach is you enjoy helping others. So getting to help others and see their life become better because of you is probably coffee for your soul. And I bet you're already in a service helping profession. So maybe you're like me, or I was a nurse before I became a life coach, or maybe you're a social worker or a teacher or a therapist, because like we said, you already enjoy helping people. And you probably see life coaching as a way to continue helping people, but to do it more on your own terms. Number 4 is people probably naturally are drawn to you and they open up and they share intimate details about their life with you. You probably have this inviting presence that just feels very safe for people, and it feels natural for them to open up and want them to tell you things about what's going on in their life. I don't know about you, but every time I go to the grocery store and I'm waiting in line at the grocery store, somehow I end up in conversation with the person behind me. And then the next thing I know, they're either crying or they're telling me their goals in life, or something really hard and challenging that they just went through. And it's just like within minutes, we're already connecting on this deep level. And sometimes it's really exciting to have this gift and be able to help people in this way. And then other times it can be a little annoying as well, because I just want to get my grocery shopping done. The 5th sign is that you're a really good listener. And this is a great skill to already have, because running a professional life coaching session, you're going to be doing active listening most of the time during the session already. So in our Born to Coach Training Academy, we teach the ICF, known as the International Coaching Federation methodology. And what they recommend is that 80% of the time in your session with your clients, that you're listening to them talk. So being a really great listener is a really useful and powerful skill, and we're going to help you to expand upon this to really help take your clients' lives to that next level. The 6th sign is that you're a sensitive, introverted empath like myself. Now, unfortunately, a lot of times people associate these traits negatively, but actually they're amazing traits to have to become a really great life coach. Being sensitive and introverted and empathic allows you to deeply connect with other human beings, and also allows you to be really in tune with what's going on with them as well. So I know sometimes we can really shame ourselves for having these qualities. I know that I'm still doing a lot of inner work around this topic as well. But I've really seen that people that have these qualities, it makes them excellent coaches. And in the academy, we'll teach you how to lean more into these gifts as a way to really help your clients. And the 7th and last sign is that your current job is not feeling fulfilling anymore, and you feel like coaching is your true purpose and your path in life, in order to create a bigger and more positive impact on this earth. I remember right before I got fired from my nursing career, I was thinking about quitting anyways, because I just felt like, even though nursing is an incredible profession and we absolutely need nurses in this world, I just felt like it wasn't my true calling, and there was something else out there that was wanting me to answer it in order to serve people on a deeper level. So if you're currently feeling this way as well, then I'm sure that becoming a life coach is your next step towards creating that fulfillment for yourself and being able to serve humanity. So if you're currently feeling this way as well, then I'm sure that becoming a life coach is a way to answer your true calling and to serve humanity on a deeper level.
This is my life's work. This is my life's passion, is to help people step into this rite of passage, this journey of coaching others. And so, yeah, after working with hundreds of students and clients over the year that are training to become life coaches, this is some of the signs I've seen that I feel will really make you a successful life coach. So the first one is that you're a good listener. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but 80% of the coaching conversation is usually the coach doing active listening. And then only 20% of the time is the coach really talking or asking questions or sharing information. So out of like a 60-minute session, that's about 12 minutes of talk time for the coach. Now, this is according to the ICF methodology. ICF stands for International Coaching Federation. So maybe other coaching methodologies don't teach this, but you are going to be doing a lot of listening and a lot of holding space in a coaching conversation. So you better be good at listening. You better enjoy it. If you're someone that enjoys talking all the time, coaching may not be for you. And I will say that this is a skill set as well. I did a lot more talking in the beginning, and I've learned how to become a better listener. So a lot of these things that I'm going to share, you may like some of these things you may naturally have, and then some of these things you may need to develop more too. So I don't want you guys to like freak out and be like, oh, I don't have those things, so I'm going to be a good coach. Because there is definitely, from 8 years ago when I first started coaching, like my coaching presence, my coaching mindset, my coaching questions, my listening ear has shifted and changed dramatically. But okay, so the first sign is you're a good listener. The second is you're okay with not giving advice or telling people what to do. Now, this is going to be a hard one for a lot of coaches because we usually come in to training as a life coach thinking that we have to tell people how to live their lives and give this amazing guru Yoda wisdom and advice to our clients. And that's actually not what coaching is about. Giving people advice, telling them what to do keeps them stuck, it keeps them lazy, prevents them from thinking for themselves, being the most resourceful version of themselves. So there's a lot of unlearning that happens when you become a professional coach. And I've never been that type of leader. And I do believe that coaching is also a leadership position. And I'm the person that I like to collaborate. I like to partner with people and come up with ideas together. And again, that's a really good, if you're the same, that's a good sign because coaching is a partnership. Coaching is not telling someone what to do, but it's partnering with them to find solutions. So that's the second sign, is you're okay with not giving advice or telling people what to do. The third sign is you have empathy and compassion for helping others. We are in the helping profession, and empathy is a beautiful skill set, right? Really being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes, understand what they're going through. But we also have to remember not to over empathize. Over empathizing can really get us into trouble. It can keep us stuck in the hole with our clients. I see a lot of over empathizing happen on sales calls where people will give us really sad stories of, this terrible thing has happened in my life and I'm in so much debt and I can't afford a coach and all this will come up. And we have to really understand where the person's coming from, but not jump in the hole with them and be able to hold a higher energetic vibration and to be able to guide them out of these tough places. So empathy is good, but over empathizing is like, imagine like your client is in, they're like sinking in a sand pit and they reach out for help and they grab your hand and their client pulls you into the sand pit with them and now you're both sinking and you're like, who's gonna help get us out of here? Right? Like the coach has to be the stronger one that can pull the client out. And over empathizing does not allow you to do that. Okay, next sign is you're a personal development junkie. So hopefully you love reading self-help books. You love listening to podcasts, watching motivational videos, anything that like betters yourself, gets you motivated and excited for life. That's usually a good indicator that you're going to be a good coach, because we are in the personal development and self-help industry. I almost can always predict what's in someone's Kindle library when they tell me they want to become a life coach. Books like Jen Sincero's You're a Badass, Tara Moore's Playing Bigger, Rachel Hollis, Girl Stop Apologizing, probably one of Tony Robbins' books. Like, we're all pretty much reading the same books, right? We all love the things that help us get to a new place in life. And your clients are going to love those things as well. So they're probably going to want you to share those types of resources with them. I have a whole list of like books and podcasts and videos that I always share with my coach training students that I personally love. I have this like whole library, and so I'm like, I know they're gonna love it too, and they always do. Okay, next sign is you can stay unattached from your clients' results. Now, this is something that I was not that good at when I first started out as a life coach, and I'm still learning how to really master this. I'm a lot better, but I'm still working on it. But the first year of coaching, I would get really, really excited for my clients to get to this new place in life, and and they tell me their goals, like I would really expect them to hit them and accomplish them. And if they would change their mind, or if they didn't get to the goal in time, or they would want to get rid of the goal altogether, like it would really affect me. And I would get upset at the client, and then I would convince myself I wasn't a good coach. And that's really a place that we want to stay unattached from, right? We want to support our clients with achieving their goals, but we can't want it more than they want it, or we can't get upset when they change their mind or when things shift course. Like, you really have to learn how to dance in the moment and be open and be flexible. And that can be hard to do, but it is absolutely necessary to be a successful life coach, is staying unattached from your clients' results. Okay, next one is you need to be non-judgmental, non-opinionated, and open-minded. Right, so you're going to be a safe person. You're going to create a safe place for your clients, and they want to feel like they can bring any type of topic to you, and that you're going to receive it with open arms. Right, so think about if there's any topics for you that feel like, oh, that makes me uncomfortable, or I don't want to talk about that. Like, you're gonna have to work through that, because you really want your clients to feel safe with you about opening up about anything in their life, and trusting that you can be with it, that you can emotionally handle it. So like, for example, a lot of times I think of kind of the more taboo topics in life. Like, so let's say abortion. Let's say that one of your clients recently got pregnant, and they come to your call, bring a request of, I'm not sure I want to keep this pregnancy, and I want to make a decision on this call today if I'm going to keep the pregnancy or get an abortion. Right? That's their topic that they bring. You can't be like, oh, no, I'm pro-life. I don't believe in this. We can't talk about this today. Right? Like, you can't have that mentality with your clients. You have to be able to support them around anything that they bring, because they're trusting you, and they don't probably have anywhere else that they can go to work through this stuff. But at the same time, you do have to be honest. And if you truly feel like you cannot hold space for one of your clients' topics, like maybe it really triggers you, then you are going to have to be honest with them, and you might have to end the call. And this is why it's good for every coach to have their own support system, a coach and or therapist. So that way you can talk about these things that come up. Just so you guys know, like my clients trigger me all the time. And it's not that they're directly triggering me. It's just stuff that happens. And it's, and then when that happens, then I bring it to my support team and I ask for help around it to figure out what it means for me and take responsibility in that way. So that way the triggers don't keep showing up. So yeah, great coaches are really able to have this non-judgmental, open-minded attitude to where you are like energetically saying, you can bring any topic to me and I'm going to hold space for it and we're going to safely explore it together. So that way you get your goal met here. Okay. Next sign is you're a curious person. So a big part of coaching is bringing a curious mindset. And it is really shifting from a place of, I know it all, to, I trust that my client knows it all. And I'm really curious to learn more about what they know. Now, that is definitely something that I've had to develop. I'm still developing it. And I would say that most new coaches don't have this yet. I think I do see some coaches that are just naturally really curious and ask really great questions from the start. But most of the time, new coaches will come in saying, oh, I want to tell you how to fix this. I want to tell you how I would have done this differently. And they're not even approaching the curious energy. And one of the most highest serving things that you can do for your clients is to be more curious and ask more questions, ask deeper questions. And again, this is kind of a hard thing to teach because it's like, it's an energy, it's an embodiment, it's a mindset thing. So again, like, don't worry. This is something you can really cultivate and develop. This is something that does need practice. It does need proper training to do this. But being a curious person, kind of just like how toddlers are, how they ask a million questions like, why does that work the way that works? Why is the sky blue? Why does the sun go down at night? Why does the grass feel this way? Like, I mean, sometimes the questions are ridiculous, but like they just want to know how everything works. And again, it's the same thing when working with your clients. Like when your client brings you a topic, you're going to be like, oh, I'm curious what that means for them. Oh, I wonder what they want to walk away with by the end of the session. Oh, I wonder where that came from. Right? Like that type of mindset, that is what's going to make you a really successful coach. Next one is, so number 8 is you like to challenge people. Now, this was a really, really hard one for me in the beginning because I am an innate people pleaser, right? I grew up as the good girl, not wanting to rock the boat, not wanting to speak up. And I've had to learn that coaching is about saying the thing that nobody else is going to say to you. So I don't want to say that we have to be the bad guy as the coach, but you have to be okay with stepping up and challenging your clients, right? So, for example, let's say that at the end of the session, you're creating, and this is going to actually flow into the next 2 that I have. So it might just be a repeat, but okay, no, let me do another example. So let's say this is something I do with my clients. So they'll say like, I just believe that I'm not a good mom. And I could be like, oh, yeah, she's right. I could see how she's not a good mom. Right? We don't want to do that. We want to challenge them and say, I don't believe that. I don't believe that you're not a good mom. I actually see an amazing mom in front of me. I would love for you to tell me 5 reasons of why you're actually a really good mother. Right? Like, you're not going to buy into your clients' stories and limiting beliefs. You're going to challenge them. So that's like an example. And that was something I was always really afraid to do. But as I get further along in my coaching journey, I realize that our clients, they're paying us to challenge them. They want us to sometimes gently or more roughly guide them, push them outside their comfort zone. And this is something that takes trust as well. So you're going to kind of have to learn what works best for each client. Some people want more of that, like, come on, you're going to do, you got this. Come on, you can do this. Let's go the extra mile. And some clients are going to want more of like kind of that loving, gentle nudge. So it'll just depend on each person. But yeah, your clients want you to challenge them so they can go to new places they've never gone before in their life. The next one is you're observant and you're present with people. Right? So you want to see and feel and notice the things that your clients are bringing into the conversations that they are completely missing. And with our program, we're a level 2 ICF accredited coach training program, which means we teach at the PCC level. And the higher up you go in your credentials, so there's ACC, PCC, and MCC. And the higher you go up, the more you're going to start paying attention and noticing things that your client is doing or saying, and you're going to bring it up. So like, for example, let's say your client is creating some goals at the end of the session and they're saying like, okay, this week I'm going to commit to walking outside every morning at 6 a.m. for 60 minutes. And when they're like saying this goal out loud, their energy is heavy. They're like, you can tell they're dreading it. Well, maybe like an ACC coach, right, first level of coaching credentials might say like, okay, yeah, great. All right, I hear that you're committing to walking outside every day for 60 minutes, starting at 6 a.m. Now, a PCC level coach would be like, okay, so I hear you committing to this goal. However, I'm really feeling and hearing something in your voice and your energy that's conflicting with creating this goal. Do you know what that might be? And then the client might be like, oh, yeah, you're right. I actually hate walking outside and I hate waking up early. Say, okay. So then what might be a different goal, a more realistic goal you might want to set for yourself? Right? Like I've found that my clients are so grateful when I'm really noticing and bringing the things up that they're, not wanting to say or not noticing themselves. And it can completely change the course of the coaching conversation. So that was the 9th one. You're observant and present with people, right? You notice all the little things. Man, my son, I don't know if he's going to be a good life coach or not, but man, Lincoln, he's 3 years old. He is so freaking observant. Like I will wake up and I'll be in a bad mood and he'll be like, Mommy, I'm noticing you're really mad. What's that about? Like, it throws me off, but I'm like, whoa, that's amazing. Like he's so sensitive and in tune like that. So I love that for him. It's incredible, and it's been very transformational for me. Okay, and the last sign is you are an honest person. So again, it kind of goes back to the last two. We were talking about like, right, challenging and noticing those things. And yeah, being a really good coach requires a higher level of being direct and being honest. And again, this was something that was really hard for me as a people pleaser, because I would usually just say things to make people happy. And again, like your clients don't want that from you. That doesn't create trust. That doesn't create transformation. So like something that you could be honest about is if your client, well, for example, like we're in semester 2 right now for the spring 2023 Born to Coach Training Academy class. In semester 2, I do 3 private mentoring sessions with each student. And what they do is they bring a recorded coaching session, either with their peer or with a client, and they bring it to our private session and we review the coaching session. We listen to it together. And a couple of the students right now they're hearing things and they're seeing things and they're coaching. They're like, man, oh, I wish I would have said this. I'm noticing that. A big one is like when your client gets off topic and it's the coach's job to help guide them back to the original topic, right? It's really easy to get off topic and go on tangents and tell stories. And I'll always say, like, how I'm curious, like, how come you didn't speak up and how come you didn't, say something to the client? And like, hey, I'm noticing we're getting off topic here. Is this a direction you want to go? Or do you want to go back to what we were originally talking about? Like, that requires a level of honesty to be able to say that. And, a couple of my students are like, oh, whew, can we be that honest with our clients? Can we say stuff like that? I'm like, yes, absolutely. It's your job. It's your job to be that honest with them. And I don't even think it's so much about the being honest part, is it's the, oh shit, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, okay. It's not being honest. It's trusting yourself that you can be honest in a way that's coming from a good place. I think sometimes we think of honesty as like being a bitch or being mean or being rude, but honesty can be a really beautiful, caring thing that we do. And so my answer is like, if you come from like a good place with a good intentions, then the honesty will hopefully always land fairly well. But if you're coming from a place of being like judgy or being pissed off or something like that, then that's when it's not going to land well with people. So, okay, let's just go ahead and quickly review the 10 signs that are going to make you a successful life coach. So 1 is you're a good listener. 2 is you're okay with not giving advice or telling people what to do. 3 is you have empathy and compassion for helping others. 4 is you're a personal development junkie. 5 is you can stay unattached from your clients' results. 6 is you have a non-judgmental, non-opinionated attitude and an open mind. 7, you're a curious person. 8, you like to challenge people. 9, you're observant and present with people. And 10, you're honest. All right, folks, there you have it. The 10 signs that will make you a successful life coach. There's a lot more I could go into, but I think that's going to be enough for today. So hopefully that was reassuring for all of you. And remember, the gem here is to practice telling yourself that you're already a good life coach or you're learning to be a good, successful life coach, because only you are the one that can decide that for yourself. Thank you so much for listening to all my podcast episodes, or if you just found the podcast, welcome. I hope you stay on the journey with us so I can continue to support you in your life coaching career.